Hey, this is Writer's Row. I'm DC Wright-Hammer, and on this episode, I want to help you draft like you've never done it before. I want to give you some perspective on drafting that might really help you if you're on your first, second, or even third draft, and just having this in mind allows you to give yourself a break and really enjoy the process of writing your books. Before we get into that, if you like the content I've been putting out on Writer's Row, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. The more subscribers we get, the more confidence I have to keep making more content for you. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm where other people searching for things on writing are going to find this channel and this episode. And so since many of us have been at home, not able to really go out as much as we would like for many weeks at this point, I want you to have a thought experiment with me to really drive home this point. And what I want you to do is picture taking one of your best friends to your favorite restaurant, the one you're probably going to go to once everything opens up. But in this scenario, this good friend of yours has never been to this restaurant before. It's your favorite. They've never been to it before. So imagine you're on your way. Picture the roads that you're going to take. I bet you can probably name them if you had to. And the directions, all the turns you're going to be making, the neighborhoods you're going to be going through, and any notable landmarks that you're going to pass on the way. I think all those are probably pretty clear in your mind. Before long, you've arrived at your favorite restaurant with your friend, and you've been talking this restaurant up. You've been mentioning how great it is. So the doors open, and you walk in. And now, in your mind, I want you to think about the atmosphere. And let's go back to when it was your favorite restaurant and the atmosphere that you have come to know and love. And let's just take ourselves there and let's remember it. And to do that, I want you to answer these questions in your head. So what colors do you see? What decor is on the walls and on the floor, on the ceiling? What are the uniforms that people are wearing? What do you hear when you walk into this restaurant? What is the smell that you can recall? So take yourself to this place, the last time you were there, and think about what is it that you hear and smell. When you get seated and that menu flips open, what are you going to right away? What is your favorite dish? And as you're going through all this process at your favorite restaurant, what do you talk about with your friend? And how are you going to, basically make them have a great experience at your favorite restaurant? And the last question I'll ask is, between you and your friend, who's going to pay when you go out to eat in this scenario? So you've taken your friend to your favorite restaurant, and there might be a whole lot of other things that are going on in your head while you're thinking about this scenario. But I bet if after you had this experience, if I said, "Hey, write me, a paper on exactly what happened, and I want you to be as descriptive as possible," and I bet for most of the writers that are out there, you could probably turn out several pages of just the drive there, going into the restaurant, the initial decor, everything, all the questions I asked you and everything. You could probably come up with actually a pretty compelling story if you tried. But if I asked your friend with their first experience to write that same paper, they might open with, "I finally went to that restaurant that my friend was telling me about." They might add some important details about whether the food was as good as they expected it, how the service was, if it was fast or friendly, and if it was expensive or not. But are they going to remember details like, "Hey, you need to go north on Calumet Avenue and turn right on Hoffman Street"? Are they going to remember that parrot statue that's hanging from the ceiling? Or the scent of fresh oil from the fries that they're frying up in the back? they're probably not going to remember some of those explicit things that are there, because their whole purpose of being on this trip, yeah, it's to go to a restaurant, but mostly it's to spend time with one of their best friends. And sure, the whole setup is to go with their good friend to their favorite restaurant, but they're not going to pick up on the little nuances that you take for granted because you've been there 100 times and you've been on your third or fourth drink and you're just staring at the wall and it means something to you and it speaks to you. And so that's why I say draft like you've never done it before. I'm not teaching you anything new here. I'm giving you perspective. The truth is, every draft you write is something you've never experienced before. You've not been to that part in that story with those characters before. So as weird as this scenario is, in fact, you are the friend in this scenario. You are actually not yourself. There's a little bit of an out-of-body experience here. And what you need to do in your first draft is let your imagination, and in this scenario that is you, take you to this place that they're really excited about, and in their mind they've got all this detail behind it because it's your imagination, but really you're the friend. And in your first draft you just need to get through that experience. You don't have to know all the little nuances and the subtle details that you're going to want to put in at a later date. Instead, you need to just get through it and have those important details. Again, was the food good? Did it live up to the hype? These things that that somebody going to a restaurant for the first time with their good friend might experience. You don't need to bog yourself down and try to talk about all the different colors that are on the walls and that parrot that's hanging from the ceiling, that parrot statue that's out there. Mostly you just need to get through it, especially draft one. Get you and your characters through it. If you have a little bit of fun detail in there, that's fine, but just get through it. By the time you get to draft 2 or 3, then you can start adding all of those exceptional details, the things that are going to really hook readers and make it immersive for them. But on draft 1, just you get through it yourself. You've never been to this place that you're writing about, unless it's a real place, in which case maybe you will have more detail. But in general, if you're just writing regular fiction, get through that first draft, and I would even say get through that second draft, and don't make it as full and as rich as it's going to be in the end. Just kind of let yourself enjoy the experience of going with your imagination to this really cool place. Once you get to that point and you get to drafts maybe 3 and you're ready, like you think it's as descriptive and as polished as it needs to be, you can start working with alpha, beta readers, possibly editors if you're going to self-publish, or look to pitch it to agents. And you're going to want to do that in a way and talk it up in a way at that point like it's your favorite restaurant, like it's the best thing that you've ever been part of. Keep in mind though, when you do that, they'll be experiencing it for the very first time, and it likely won't be their favorite to begin with when they experience it, but all of that is part of the process. So I hope you enjoyed this little thought experiment analogy from me. If you have any comments or questions about it, make sure to leave a comment down below on the YouTube channel, and I'll make sure to respond to that. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will catch you all next time. Take care.